Ghibli art has become a national obsession. People are hooked onto this viral trend of transforming their personal photos into Ghibli-inspired AI art forms, and from selfies to status to DPs to iconic moments in history to everyday snapshots. People are having a lot of fun exploring this new art form and AI. But the art world is truly baffled, shocked, and surprised. Now, why is that so? To discuss this, we have somebody who is an authority in the field of design and art. He's someone who has set up the textile department of National Institute of Fashion Technology, was a former dean with NIFT, set up the design department at the GD Goenka Design University, and is currently the Vice Chancellor of World University of Design at Sonipat. Professor Dr. Sanjay Gupta, what a pleasure to have you and discuss this with us. To start with, Professor Gupta, can you enumerate what exactly is Ghibli art? And if you could draw the distinction between the original Studio Ghibli, which is from Japan, and the AI-inspired Studio Ghibli Art.
The Ghibli Art Studio is a Japanese studio which a long time back kind of perfected a distinct visual and emotive identity to the kind of comic strips or the characters or the scenarios which they were making, which had a very hand-drawn effect, which has very natural or whimsical backgrounds. But at all levels, they were very emotively made and connected. The characters were emotive. The emotion depth was there. So at some point in time, the AI was trained on it. It remains to be seen, because I don't know if it was with the permission of Studio Ghibli or not, or only on the Ghibli art available in the public domain. So was it ethically trained or not? But an AI got trained on it and was released on the public. And that's where then this art became public art, and everybody has been feeding out. They're actually contributing to training the AI by supplying their own pictures and getting them to make Ghibli art out of it. So that's the status right now.
Okay, I understand. Miyazaki, the co-founder of Studio Ghibli, is truly disgusted with this art form. He almost talks about it as an insult to life itself. It puts a question mark on human existence. As you said, the emotional layering and the emotive aspect is something which Studio Ghibli completely perfected, a thing which probably is not possible with the AI form. Where do you stand on this debate?
Let's go back in time and let me give you an example. There was a time when all the portraits were being made by hand, and then the camera and the photography technique came in.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's imagine those times, right? So what was being done by hand and was taking time now became mechanical. It can be captured. So what happened is that something which was restricted to a few people became more democratic.
Yes.
Because a picture can be shot by anybody. And then the newer and newer cameras came, and then it became so democratic that today everybody carries a camera in their phone. Now everybody shoots and makes it available. So has it killed portrait painting? Has it taken away anything from the artist? No, it opened a new avenue. And both the fields evolved to cover it, right? So in a way, when technology is advancing, you cannot wish it away. The technology is going to advance.
Correct.
But it's presenting a tool, right? What we know is that this tool is faster than anything we have known before.
Right.
Right? What took an artist to make a frame weeks can be made by this tool in seconds.
Yeah.
Right? So the speed is something which is bothering everybody.
Okay.
Nobody had foreseen that this will become so fast and it will spread in the world like fire.
Right.
And I think if the owner of Ghibli, which I don't know, has ethically approved the training, then perhaps he had not anticipated the widespread the way it has spread.
Correct.
And if he had not, yes, then there's an ethical question.
Okay, and you run a design institute, and you teach different disciplines of art and design, and so much of it. Does it also lead people like you to re-strategize as to what kind of education you would be imparting to the students? As in, with a man with machine creating a design, what is the new age design education going to be all about? Would you be introducing a generative AI course in the coming years? Because yesterday only I was reading this news that China has made it compulsory for every child from class from age of 6 years to mandatorily study AI. So, here we are debating whether AI is good or bad, but here is a country which has made it mandatory already for children that small. So,
Absolutely.
what is your...
See, this is what I said earlier, that, you cannot wish away the advance of technology.
Correct.
It is going to come, and it's going to come fast.
Yes.
It's going to come faster than we ever anticipated.
Yeah.
Right? So AI cannot be wished away. Right? It is there. What we can is to, become as fast as possible, adapt to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that then we can begin to use it as a tool and continue to advance what was originally ours.
Okay.
You see, AI is always trained on pre-existing art, right? So it's perfect in its skill and the way it renders things. What it cannot do as of now is add emotions to it, which is still a human trait. So far, it may not be so. But in future, if you want to make your AI art emotive, you need to instruct it. So there's a prompt engineering thing, and which is not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody can generate a prompt which will make AI produce an emotive image. This is prompt. So this is a field which is evolving.
Yeah.
In the meantime, all of us would need to use it as much to get adapted to it, and then see how human, as in the past, can control it to get a better outcome.
So when you say prompt is the brief that you give, मतलब अगर सवाल सही पूछेंगे तो तभी जवाब सही मिलेगा. So you are saying that the discretion of giving the correct brief is what maybe educationists like you would be telling your students in times to come.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I adopted AI in 2019 when it was just being discussed.
Right.
Because technology, as I've seen in my life, you cannot avoid it. It's going to come. It's an advancement of human being. It is being produced by humans. We cannot avoid it.
Yeah.
And the faster we get adapted to it, the better.
Yeah.
So AI has since then been in my university, and every single student of mine, whether he is a BBA graduate or whether he is a fine arts or a performing arts or a design graduate, they go through AI and courses understanding AI and how it can be used in their field.
Right. And talking of technology, well, you come from the Indian Institute of Technology, and you're an alum of IIM Ahmedabad. Many would say that, a person with that kind of a temperament, a science person, what is he doing in the art field? Especially the CBSE products of today, because we tend to box them into science and art. Of course, the new education policy 2020 takes a very different take on, a bit of science and art and a bit of art and science. But did you, on a personal note, face that kind of issue ever, that you were into the technology and science, that kind of a field, and to make a big switch, as the society would put it, to the art and design world?
No, but you see, I never believed that creativity is separated from science. Okay. We have science, which is the basic fundamental block.
Yeah.
And we have a technology.
Right.
Technology is applying science
Yeah.
to make a product.
Hmm.
Design is the in-between. Design is the bridge.
Yeah.
If you cannot design the bridge, how can you make a technology?
Very true. And that brings me to that statement of yours where you've been quoted as saying that India is turning a blind eye towards its designers, its design community. And if it continues to do so, we will not be able to become the $5 trillion economy, which we are aspiring to be. Why did you say that?
See, let's see a little bit of our history and effect. We have developed our manufacturing basis on the basis of exports we do.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And we are known as one of the vendors in the universe where we fight with other manufacturing countries, Vietnam, Cambodia, China, whatever it is, on peanuts, on pencils, on cents.
Yeah.
That you make a shirt for $1, I make it for 95 cents,
Hmm.
and then I get the order, right? We are fighting for that 5 cents, 2 cents. Right? This way, we are always going to be vendors.
Okay.
But if we can design our own thing, then we can charge our own price.
I see. Okay.
So if you want to become bigger in the world matter, we have to be able to design our things and ask for our costs.
Right.
That's my thing.
Okay. And when it comes to the Indian design aesthetic and the weaves and the cottage industry, the handloom, the Banarsi, what is it that you think should definitely be scaled up to the global level and can really become a USP and a game changer for India?
So it has already happened. I think if you look at the way our fashion industry was maybe 30 years back and what it is today, if you look at the fashion, domestic fashion industry, the way it was 30 years back and the way it is now, we have evolved. Okay. The design component, and I give the complete credit here to the setting up of NIFT at the right moment, because then that brought in design into this textiles and fashion stream. Okay. And they did wonderful work in the first 20 years where the whole industry evolved on the basis of that. And today we are very competitive. However, we are still not thinking big. We are still not, there's only perhaps one Ambani and one Adani. Why can't there be more? Why can't we think of multi-million setups? The thought process still is that if I start a business, design-based business, and I reach a certain scale, I sit back and say, this is good for me. It's enough for me. That's our problem. We are unable to think big.
I see.
So if you were to make a word mark, you must think big.
Okay.
And the corporations and others must come together to give that confidence to the designers.
Yeah.
They come together, they take it.
Yeah, I think I quite get your point that design influences experience of a human. The whole efficiency of life is taken to the next level. From the spoon you eat to the digital media that you see to the chair or the aesthetics of the furniture you sit on. I think even from if you keep the aesthetics aside, the pure functionality also becomes so much better when it's well designed. So you think design is still underrated in our country?
It is. See, why to go back longer? I mean, yes, NIFT was established some 35 years back. NID goes 50 years back.
Yeah.
But those are just two institutions in a country like India. And those are standalone institutions.
Yeah.
When I established this World University of Design in 2000, we conceptualized in 2016, it got established in 2018.
Yeah.
We were the first ones.
Yeah.
Right? There were hardly 2-3 other universities having a design department. But when we announced a university, it created the necessary push.
Correct.
Today, 350 universities are offering design programs. 3,000 colleges are offering design.
Yeah.
That's the impact. But it is still not enough because those 350 universities are not equipped We don't have enough number of teachers. Right? So we need to work to create this ecosystem.
Correct. And even today, a lot of parents would not want their children to get into the design/art space because the salary slip of a designer, would not still compare with that of an engineer. And therefore, culture, dance, music, art, aesthetics of life are being rated pretty low when it comes to employability or a good you can say lifestyle that one can.
I correct you there.
Yeah.
Today, service slips of designer is more than that of an engineer.
Really? Okay.
And on an average, I mean, I take one example, the cash cow of the engineering industry, the computer science course.
Yeah.
Right? Computer science course was considered the, solution to your problems. If you get into one, you get a job, but you'll be doing coding. Coding today can be done by AI.
Yeah.
You will be doing bug removal or changing software checking. And this is being done by AI.
Yeah.
So it's a job. So computer science graduate today their employment rates have been falling faster than anything else. They're not employed. Employable right now because they have been replaced. But design, if you see, that's the human element, which even AI needs. Right?
Yeah.
So we have a course, for example, computer science and design. So we bring in that element which becomes useful, and then that becomes it.
So you're saying if anything will remain, it is actually the culture, the art, these kind of fields will sustain the onslaught of AI.
Everything which can be, which is standard, which is repeatable, which is, which follows a pattern, can actually become an AI.
Yeah. So, OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, he says that in a sense, it has led to democratization of content when he created these AI art forms of Studio Ghibli, and he justifies that as being overall net gain for the society. For a long time, the art world was sort of had a sense of entitlement or elitism. Do you think that will go and it will become more like a mass movement where people can start, from literally playing with these apps to actually thinking of art as not being something twice removed from reality? They're embracing it in their day-to-day lives, and that's also one good aspect of this AI coming into the picture.
I would say yes and no. Okay. Yes, it has democratized. This art form now is available to anybody who has a smartphone at his disposal.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
In a way, people who were not very artistically inclined, who didn't know, they can also play with it. They can also generate. So in a way, it is increasing an appreciation of art, an appreciation of better things, good things. But there's also a danger that it will spread so much that they get tired of it.
Fatigue.
The fatigue.
The data deluge.
Right. And then they move away from art.
Yeah.
So that is a danger, right? But, we cannot stop it. So it will go on. What it will also do, which it may also do, is it will, after a while, when everybody is done with it, it will increase the value of an authentic art.
I see. So like water, it will find its own level and eventually settle down.
Because then everybody has the same thing.
Correct.
Then it is no longer,
yeah.
Then the authenticated
correct
art
will be valued more. So I have a set of quick questions in the rapid fire round, just for some fun. Would you hang AI art in your at your home on any of the walls?
See, for me, choosing an art form is a very personal matter of heart.
Yeah.
I must connect with it.
Yeah.
So if I connect with something, why not?
Okay. Is AI art theft or innovation?
Well, if it is done without consent, in an unethical way, it is theft.
Okay.
Okay. But otherwise, it's innovation. It's an innovation you cannot deny.
Well articulated, sir. Um, will AI ever replace artists?
It will certainly replace artists in the short run.
Okay.
Because, as you said, it will become democratic. So, in smaller, commercial art usages and other things, a lot of people are going to use this to create something which they need immediately, right? So, but very soon, when this is over, the difference that a well-designed product made to their businesses, so that understanding would set in.
I see.
And then those consumers would evolve to more design form.
Okay.
So I think design appreciation, what design can do to their businesses, and then the hunger for better things would happen. So in a way, I think it's a way forward.
I see. Okay. And your favorite art form from Indian heritage?
Chola sculptures.
Oh, yeah.
Rajas.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's one of those forms which has form and emotion and everything built into one.
Yeah.
That's my.
Your most prized possession in art or design?
It's a portrait of Hussain signed by Hussain, the artist himself.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it dates
Lovely.
back to my student days.
Yeah.
I think I must have been in some competition where Hussain Saab was there, and I quickly found some brush and ink or something, and I made a portrait of him. And he happened to walk by, saw my portrait, stopped, took out his pen, and signed it. That's my most valued.
Okay. So, maximalism or minimalism, what is it that you subscribe to?
For me, it's a long question because it's a very contextual thing. Where minimalism is required, I use that. Where maximum required.
So, like, let's say home interiors, what would you subscribe to?
I can have a mix of both.
Really?
I can have a
Okay.
room with minimalism.
Okay.
So it's a, yeah.
It's not an either or.
It's
It
very
can be.
context based.
Okay. Fair enough. One contemporary Indian artist that you swear by?
Well, I have recently bought a piece from a Bombay-based artist, Bhakti Lad.
Okay.
Okay, she paints women.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, one design trend which you think should be knocked off, it needs to go.
Design trend.
Yeah.
I think the what we call as greenwashing or the for sustainability.
I see. Yeah, overrated words.
Yeah.
And very few people doing anything to do sustainable.
Where the intent is not there. The intent is just to make it look like sustainable. And
yeah, correct.
I think that is something I hate.
Very true. So, art gallery or street art, what would you prefer?
They are both important and serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Art galleries are for kind of more immersive, personal thought processes, immersive application. Street art is for everyone, where it promotes a reaction, it promotes some thought process among the public.
Yeah.
So both are important and both serve a purpose.
Okay. One overrated artist or artwork according to you?
Mona Lisa.
Mona Lisa? Yeah.
Highly overrated.
Okay. The exposure of Indian children towards Indian art or art in general is abysmally low. Agree or disagree?
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll give you an example. I was long time back in my career, I was in France for a visiting professorship and my family with me.
Yeah.
And I sent my kid to a school nearby. And that school in their nursery and KGs had pictures of the best of their French artists on the walls. And they were not there just for show. They were there because they were taught. They were introduced to the kids at that age as to what this is and, how are the artists important in their life and everything. And that's why every student who comes out of their school appreciates art, appreciates a well-designed product, which in our case, we just don't have it. We have a art period in most of the school timetables, but that is just to, free period. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah. Nobody takes it seriously. Nobody does anything. Our museums, such rich museums, they're not used by students.
Yeah.
schools should be regularly using them. But no, they take them once in a while, and the students walk in a line one after another. Maybe you see a thing or two, nobody explains what is that. That's not how museums are to be used. That's not. I think school education do a lot to apprise them of art.
So finally, last question. One public installation, art or design that you are really fond of?
Difficult for me to say, but I love the way the India Habitat Center
Yes.
courts are done.
Yes. And the recent butterfly that they have a lovely butterfly installation, which is quite stellar. So pleasure to have you and wish you all the best.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.